Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, first spring training game is just about underway this coming Friday, the 21st. Unfortunately, now the injuries are starting to pile up for the Yankees, headlined by Giancarlo Stanton, what they're calling, quote-unquote, a tennis elbow in both of his elbows, so an injury that apparently he was dealing with last season. Well, as it now comes this season, pretty much shutting him down this spring and is in jeopardy for him to be in the opening day lineup there. So, again, not good news for the Yankees. And, again, some other injuries now starting to pile up on them. So we'll get you caught up on all these injuries. But there is some good news, feedback regarding so far Jason Dominguez, who we're expecting a lot from, especially if someone like Stanton's going to be down and looking for power from elsewhere. Kind of, gets the feedback on him so far there. And, of course, I'm sure you were concerned that, yes, when the Yankees did re-sign Tim Hill, you was also wondering, yeah, but he lost his number 54 to Max Fried. What number is going to be? I know this is keeping you up in that, so I'll update you on that as well. So before we get started, though, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So if you're a first-time listener, or if you're a long-time listener, or you're kind of a mediocre listener, and once in a while you still haven't subscribed to this, look for something that says follow, like, or subscribe, something of that ilk. Hit that, and there's also the YouTube version of the show. Again, not updated frequently as the audio podcast, but you want to catch it as well. So right after, go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So, of course, the news about Giancarlo Stanton dealing with, they're calling it, again, more like a tennis elbow in both of his elbows, and this is supposedly an injury he was dealing with also last season. Again, he missed some time for some other reasons. Now, obviously, we saw his performance in the postseason where he was almost godlike there, so it seems like something that he's able to play through, but unfortunately, you could just tell he's not 100%, and it's just, as this unfortunately with Stanton at age 35. We're never going to see this guy at 100%, and you always wonder what he could possibly do if he could be 100%. This is not going to be the case there. Now, the injury itself, they say it's almost like little tears in the elbow tendons there, so it's not like a major thing we need surgery. It's just some they feel where he needs rest and recovery. So right now, they say he hasn't really swung a bat in 3 to 4 weeks, and he's again in jeopardy to be out of the opening day lineup. And it's kind of a shame because obviously 2023 was miserable for him. Again, he hit under 200. It was just getting booed a lot. It was like a real shell for himself. Did rebound himself a little bit in 2024. Again, he did have a little setbacks a little bit here and there, but again, overall put himself together a good season. And of course, we know we did in the postseason. Again, hitting huge home runs, clutch home runs late in games there. And it would have been nice to him to sort of build off that. The fans always kind of give it to him a little bit, but they're always, ready to bounce back and applaud him when he does well there. And if he could, it'd be nice for him to sort of build off that, having a really good 2024 postseason. But now he's going to be shut down for a little bit, and they're not sure again if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. Now, obviously, since that frees up the DH spot, they asked Aaron Boone what the plans to do that, and he mentioned that he wants to use that as an opportunity to get Judge some, DH spots there, just so get him off his feet early in the season. This sort of maybe he'll have more a little bit in the gas tank later in the season if you can get him some rest early on. Not that Judge ever seems to be the type of person that kind of gets fatigued or tired there, but look, hey, he's yet another year older there, so if you can just get him off his feet some more a little bit early in the season, can't hurt there, especially if you have some of those rainy, dank days in late March and April there when the weather's a little chill bit there. If you can kind of get him off his feet, get him out of the field there where it might be slick or wet, a lot of, obviously you have the April showers and so forth. It's not a little silver lining to that, but obviously you're concerned about Stanton, just, kind of being 100%. This seems like he's never going to be 100%. So that was Boone's take there. And as mentioned before, the injuries starting to pile up on the Yankees. Another one being Clark Schmidt dealing with a bad back. Now, the good news about that is that Boone feels that he at least should be available for opening day, so it doesn't seem like any sort of major issue. But another injury for the Yankees, and that was Chase Hampton, one of their pitching prospects there, now dealing with a flexor strain there. Again, the Yankees were kind of high on him a little bit. He's kind of a top pitching prospect for the Yankees. He's shut down as well. And again, one of the solutions would be if Judge is a DH, is obviously having someone like Trent Grisham there, get a little bit more playing time in the outfield. He's someone the Yankees will pitch it for or come in for late inning defense, but now you got to worry about him right now because he's also dealing with an injury. His is a hamstring right now, so nothing really, again, dire at the situation, but you can see there, again, these injuries piling up. Of course, we discussed it previously. Jake Cousins dealing with some issues as well. So, again, some of these injuries right now piling up for the Yankees. And that was the whole deal with Stroman, the whole blow-up is that stuff. Because, again, starting pitchers, especially starting pitchers, always get hurt. So it looks like, right again, Clark Schmidt might be a little bit, again, Boone doesn't feel like he'll be in jeopardy, but just as easily someone could get, crop him, get hurt there. So you could still very possibly see Stroman break the top five in the rotation there, at least for the start of the season. They'll kind of take it from there. So again, this is what pretty much happens every spring for the Yankees. And other Boone comments kind of mentioned that for Jazz, they kind of, once they kind of settle on a position which they say they feel it's going to be second base for him, they want to keep him there. They don't want to sort of jack of all trades and flip-flopping between second and third and all that. And they just want to kind of focus on one position. Actually, I like the idea. I like to have a cohesive infield there. So if you can have him and Volpe working together as much as possible, as many games, just for them kind of, use their athleticism and kind of get better and better and better, versus kind of just sticking someone else there, one every other game there. So like the idea for Boone. Keep Jazz in this one spot there. Let him focus on that 100% of the time there versus throwing them all around and give them different angles and stuff and, having them maybe make errors or, obviously mess with his head there. So that's the plan for Jazz there. Of course, right now we know third base is an open competition, obviously going to be between DJ, Peraza, and Oswaldo Cabrera. So we'll see what that settles on there. Again, the Yankees really don't have a de facto third baseman. Is it terrible? No, but you kind of just want a cohesive, same five there, in the infield every game there. Again, when the Yankees even 2009, and go back to the championship Yankees, you always had Brocious there, or you had Wade Boggs there. I mean, you always have a steady Eddie there. When you flip guys around a little bit, it's just not a good sign, especially third base. That's a position you want good defense, and you want some pop, you want some power there, and you just kind of want a steady hand there. And it doesn't seem like Arenado is going to come here or there, so it's going to probably be one of those three at least to start the season, but let's see what happens with that. Now, as mentioned before, Tim Hill back, re-signed with the Yankees. Again, 1-year deal with a 1-year option. Lost his number 54 to Max Fried. Who was, obviously came in and got signed before Tim Hill re-signed there. So Tim Hill will now be donning number 41. So does that mess with his head a little bit? A lot of baseball players are superstitious, and you've seen a lot of players come to a new team, and if someone has the number they usually use, they try to buy them like a Rolex watch or try to bribe them somehow to get their numbers. Now, some players are easy to give up their numbers, some don't, but whatever. And I guess kind of Max Fried is the bigger entity, even though, Tim Hill's more the veteran. But obviously, he's a big-time starting pitcher, just signed a big contract. He's a man. And I guess, I don't know if Tim Hill even asked him enough for the number there. Who knows? But again, even though Hill's the veteran, but still Max Fried's kind of the bigger entity down there. So that's how it kind of goes with that. And as mentioned at the top, spring training games is going to be on the way. So the first one's this coming up this Friday, the 21st. So we're going to have baseball action, baseball activity. It's all underway there. And once the season starts, and some fans like him, some fans hate him, but I don't know how you want to feel about him. But looks like Joe Buck will be back calling baseball games. I know a lot of fans don't like him, and I think he's all right. And I think when back in the years ago before Tim Carver passed away, I think him and McCarver were great together, and there was some big calls during, at least that remember back during the Joe Torre championship years. There's some big calls by the two of them there. So I like Joe Buck. They don't have anything different. And every team always thinks he's against them. Like Yankee fans say, oh, he's pulling for the Red Sox, and then Cubs fans thinking, oh, he's pulling against the Cubs. Red Sox fans feel, oh, he's pulling against the Red Sox. He's a national guy. I don't think he really has any preference there, and he's kind of said that already. He's mentioned that there, and he's just kind of a voice you'd expect with sports there. And of course, we know obviously the work he does with Troy Aikman, with the NFL for all those years there. So Joe Buck, whether you love him or you hate him, he will be back. And I guess other news somewhat related. Obviously, we did cover Alex Bregman going to the Boston Red Sox, with the Boston Red Sox also adding to the bullpen, signing former Yankee / former Met Adam Ottavino. Again, he was with them also a couple years back as well there. So obviously he's going to be in the bullpen. Doesn't really make a difference more or less there, but just a little news if you happen to be a fan of Adam Ottavino. So that's the episode. Just about ready to get these spring training games underway, but of course now we got to worry about Stanton. Obviously looks like we're not going to see him for a while. He looks like they just want to shut him down, and then we'll see whether he misses opening day or not. But again, it's a guy that unfortunately is just always going to be dealing with injuries more or less there. And last year was the running the bases where he injured his Achilles there. He was shut down for a long while, and while that happened, I guess he was dealing with these what they call tennis elbows and both of his baseball elbows there a little bit. So, but again, I think the Yankees right now at least set up that having some backup options. Again, I like the idea of get the DH spot to Judge there, and of course, then Jason Dominguez. Again, a lot of people raving about his work ethic so far this spring, and that's someone again stepping up who wasn't available for the Yankees last season. Again, he was dealing with injuries last spring as well, so he didn't really get a full start of the season. Well, now it looks like Jason Dominguez. Again, he's shagging fly balls. He hit a nice bomb the other day, and he just turned 22 this week. So again, a young guy there. So if someone like Stanton goes down, where are you going to get the power from elsewhere? Well, that will be Jason Dominguez. Again, hopefully he just keeps up there. And, Boone kind of said obviously he's kind of, you pencil him in as a left fielder, but Boone kind of wants him to earn the job and, work hard for it. So seems like he has. And we covered this on the YouTube version of the show. Didn't really mention here on the audio podcast. But, again, the Yankees kind of rearranged the lockers a little bit this spring there. And, again, they have Judge, Bellinger, and Dominguez lockers next to each other, which makes sense. I mean, that's probably going to be the three you see most of the season patrolling the outfield there. So you kind of you want to get them like sort of in sync right away, talking to each other, communicating, balls in the gap, who backs up who, and this baseball fundamentals. And of course, Aaron Judge, the Yankee captain, obviously, he was kind of in the same he was in the same shoes that Dominguez was, obviously, as soon as the Yankees drafted him, there was eyes attention on him, and the guy was 6'7", and there was a lot of expectations with him. So he knows the ropes. He knows probably what Dominguez is even thinking before Dominguez is thinking, and who better to sort of break it down and help Dominguez, through this process of being a full-time New York Yankee up on the big stage there. So good move by the Yankees there, and of course Bellinger as well, a veteran, been around. Again, the three of them are going to be patrolling the field as long as everyone stays healthy for most of the season. Once kind of things fall back into place. So again, good move there, and again, good just for Dominguez, not just to walk in and expect to get the job and kind of be lazy and just kind of feel entitled. It looks like he's actually going out to earn it there, so that's definitely want to see. So that's the episode. We'll catch you next time.